Yo, yo, yo. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. I'm standing up. But it's your gal, Juliberry. Tripper Girl, thank you so much for the sub. Oh my gosh, why is it kind of dark in here? Hold on. Change my light bulb thing. How are we doing, guys? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Jellyfish, first time chatter, welcome to the stream. I was just thinking, I wonder if Julie's gonna stream tonight, and 2 seconds later I got the note of, I got a freaking Snapchat from you. I'm gonna open it. Christmas! Yo! Kalia, welcome, hello! And also Mars, hello! Oh my goodness, so many first-time chatters. It's your Christmas tree. It looks wonderful. Having to catch a live stream is sub 3 months, so I have an archive plan for a while. 07, you're doing amazing. You're doing amazing. Kinda wanna put on some Lovejoy. Yo! Graze, time to make a Feral Boy Spy AU fanfic. Yo! That sounds poggers, dude. Also, welcome, first time chatter, Graze Blanket. Hello, everyone. How are we doing? Yay, SBI Sunday stream. I only have one more final left. Yes, one more final. You're literally killing it. You're literally killing it. Let me reconfigure this. Turn up the brightness a little. Hello? Make me live. What the muffin? What is happening? Who subbed? Hey, yo! Khalid, thanks so much for the sub! Oh my gosh, tier 1! Yo, wow, what's going on? First time chatter. Hello. I was reading SBI spec when I got the notification. Yo! Well, welcome. We're gonna read some SBI fanfiction now. Oh my god. Hold on, we're missing someone. My bed isn't made, so we're just gonna ignore that. But look, he's still here. Twitch. Because brand. Oh my goodness. Hi, Blueberry. Messy Berry. Hey, I am Cleanly Berry. I did the sheets. You're supposed to wash those a lot more often than I think sometimes. But guess who still doesn't have her homework done? Pushing off homework. This is clearly no, me too. I'm pushing back homework. I got till midnight, and this will get done in like an hour. So I hope you are all doing well. Make sure to snuggle up with a blanket. Make sure you have a snack, some water. We're gonna be reading. We're gonna be having some fun. This is gonna be a good stream. I can sense it. Should I ping at K? Cat. I meant to say cat. I don't know if I have one. It was 6. I need to catch up on homework. Oh yeah, be sure to catch up. What the muffin? Oh my gosh, Jelly, thank you so much for the tier 1. We triggered a hype train? What the heck? We have to study a huge test in like 2 weeks. Oh my gosh, Mars, please make sure you study. Hype train! Hype train! Let's go! Oh my god! Thank you guys! What the muffin? Let's go! You're working on Christmas gifts, Trumpet? Oh my gosh. I just bought Danny another Christmas gift because I just care about her so much. Sari! Hi, Sari. Julie, guess what? Yes, what is it, Scope? What is it, Scope? Tell me. I believe some of that bank account is empty with Christmas. I know, fair, guys. Y'all, save money on your Christmas gifts. Don't spend it on me. I have more channel points than Sari. Oh my gosh. Why is everyone fighting? Also, sorry for starting late. I just got off call with Danny. My final start tomorrow. This is a great way to start my week. Let's go, Trumpet. Let's go. I kicked Sari. What is happening? Hi, Clover. Oh my goodness gracious. Y'all are so funny. Fight. Yes, we're fighting. We're fighting now. Yeehaw. Where's Cat? Busy alone. Have good stream. Thanks. Someone get Cat. Fine, I'll DM them on Twitter. Give me reasons we should be. Oh, guys, I had an audition today. Do y'all want to hear about it? Almost forgot about tonight, but I had notifications so I wouldn't miss it. Proud of you. Proud of you. Yes? Okay. Live now. Okay. So, I memorized this song in less than 24 hours. I sang, Jill Beanie? Thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. Oh my gosh. Thank you, thank you. And the hidden mask child. Hello, Julie. I've missed you too. How have you been? Jill, how are you? Thank you so much for the sub. Holy moly. Holy moly. We hit level 1. We hit level 1 of a hype train. Oh my gosh. Cats online. Cat. We read in chapter 3 and 4 of FT, by the way. We hyping. We are hyping so poggin' hard right now. Okay, so guys. So basically, I memorized this song in under 24 hours. I was up to like 3, and then I was like singing it this morning before my audition. And like, I had it down. Basically, it was only 2 minutes, 32 bars. And so I'm like singing through it, and like I'm getting ready. And so I drive over there to the studio, and it's like the chillest audition ever. It's all student run, it's all student directed. And so I sign in, I fill out the little application, and some of my friends are there. We're chatting it up, we're talking about what songs we're gonna sing. It's a good time. And then they call my name, and I walk in. First thing they do, they compliment the sweater. Who doesn't love the sweater? H&M, I tell them. $24, so fun. And then I hand them my phone, and they start playing my track. And so I'm like singing along, I'm doing good. And then it gets to the bridge. I forget the words. Yo, Glow, first time chatter, welcome. Also, hello, Geneva. Hello. And so I'm singing the song, and I forget the words. And I'm like, oh no, what do I do? And so I just start improvising. I go, da 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 da, and I forgot the words here. But that's alright, cause I'm a drowsy chaperone. Cause she's drunk in the song. And so they start laughing. So I'm all like, yes, I am killing it. And then I pick it up again. I forget a couple other words. Hello, Nelly. Hi, Nelly. How are you? Hello. And so I finish it off. And then I hold out the final note. And I did it. I finish. I go, thank you. And they're like, oh, that's... good job, like, really nice. And so they start asking me questions. And so I'm like, yes, yeah, I am familiar with this musical, or they asked me if I was familiar with Matilda the musical, and I said, to be completely honest, I'm not familiar with the musical at all. I only know about the movie. And so I was like, no, I am not familiar with the musical. However, I am familiar with it through all the TikToks I've been seeing about the movie on my For You page. They laughed at that too. And I was like, yes. And I know one of the people personally that was doing the things. Hi, Phoenix. Hello. So yeah, I did that. And then they asked me if I owned a blazer and a pleated plaid skirt. And I said, no, but I can obtain one. They're like, well, don't go out just yet. Like, just keep in mind. I said, oh, okay. So yeah, we don't know what the musical is. They're probably just saying that to throw us off. But yeah, so that was great. It's always awesome when you can just improv your way through a song instead of freezing. Yeah, it was a good time. We killed it. So yeah, hopefully I'm hoping to get like ensemble or something. I love dancing in the theater. It's gonna be so fun. Theater kid moment, real. I love the theater. Last year, I was a blind mice in the Shrek the Musical. That was so fun. I was sexy. So which SBI fanfic are you reading? According to the stream title, we are going to continue our reading of Full Throttle. Kim, like, fill you in what we're talking about. I was just telling the story about my audition. You can go back into the VOD to watch through it. But yes, we're going to be reading chapters 3 and 4 of Full Throttle. Teal! Thank you so much for the raid! And Pepper coming in with a sub. Oh my gosh, we're popping off with the subs today.
HIII Julib 3 love Julib 3 love Julib 3 love.
Hi Pepper, hello. Oh my goodness. Hi Kat, hello. But my school is doing Shrek the Musical in the summer. Good musical. So funny. We are hyping. We are literally hyping. Hi, Teal. Teal, how's the cosplay coming? I looked on. I was like lurking. I was on call with Danny, and when you started streaming, so I'm like, oh my gosh, they're cosplaying me. Yo, the Indecisive Collective, thank you so much for the follow. You almost having a full hype train. No, literally, that was so fun. Heck yeah, thank you guys so much for that. I really appreciate it. Need to go because I'm tired. Yes, get some rest. Get some rest, Blueberry. Treat yourself. You're totally fine. Cosplay done, mate. I'm excited to see pictures. It was so funny because you were wearing the wig and it looked like you were cosplaying Danny for a second because Danny and I are clones, basically, except she has bangs and I don't. So that's what's really funny. Being able to read fanfictions with randoms instead of my friends brings a warm feeling in my style. I'm like, ayy. Just time for closing TikTok audios. Slay! Hopefully you can find some from me. Let's see. All right. Shall we get into it? Yeah. Because I am ready. Bro, what does Danny look like? They haven't face revealed, so don't go bother looking. So have you offended you? None of my friends read fanfic? I got you, fam. That's why we got the YouTube where I have a series of me reading like different fanfics. I need to finish editing a lot of stuff, but I've just been packed with projects and stuff. I have projects due at midnight tonight, so we're gonna speed run this. All right, let's get the lore playlist on, huh? Let's get the lore playlist on. I think this chapter's kind of short, so we're probably in the clear. Also, guys, I have sad news. Sadly, the Chill SMP is coming to a close. It came and goes so fast, but Angelic Mochi unfortunately could not keep it open. Yikes. I know we were just on that SMP yesterday, so I know I'm kind of sad too, but it's okay because there are other SMPs out there. I think there's one that's made by Johnny Jean and my friend Jenna, so we might hop onto that one for a bit. Sorry about the bangs, I'm only gonna wear your out, but I feel like you'll love the cosplay. I'm excited to see it. I'm very excited. Watch Fable SMP? Yeah, Athena is on that, right? I feel like there's a lot of lore that I've missed out on though, but I'm willing to learn. I'll watch the lore recaps. Athena's great. Athena's wonderful. Speaking of Athena, shout out to Athena. I'm in their little archive Discord server, and I have the author, got the little author role on there for Pinkman. I'm so glad that he likes that fic so much. Makes me feel special. Okay. Let's do this. Slime in the Discord too. Yo, let's go. That's a great server. All right. It's been a while since we've done this. We're going to do it. All right. Full Throttle. Chapter 3. Tommy leans his forehead against the glass and watches his future barrel toward him at 200 miles per hour. Here is where he will pass or fail. See either checkered flag or the tail end of 39 cars crossing the finish line before he even has a chance. This is his opportunity, his test. Will he prove himself, or will he prove his old chief right? Will he fail so spectacularly his career will be over before it's even truly begun? This is it. Welcome to Daytona, Tommy. Content warnings? None. We're in the clear! Alright. Lore recap of last time. Tommy was caught in a wreck while racing, and now he is hard of hearing. He has to wear hearing aids, and Wilbur Soot was also a racer. When Wilbur was Tommy's age, he also got into like a wreck, and he is like completely deaf. But now Tommy has like recovered. He's got hearing aids, and he's got like some stuff going on in like his helmet so that he can wear his aids, and it's a good time. Time for angst. Driving, in Tommy's opinion, is sort of like flying. He whoops as he finishes turning the first corner, slamming hard on the gas pedal to shoot off down the speedway again. The car hums underneath him, tires latching onto the railway with an easy grip that lets him go faster, 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 until the heartbeat in his chest can be heard over the rumbling of the track. Until his weight disappears and the only thing keeping him bound to the seat is his seatbelt. Until the world outside his side windows is a blur of bright color, like a Monet painting. Tommy clutches the wheel and thinks, this is what driving is. Racing is a little different. Racing requires the speed and intuition of driving, but it also requires a sensible head on his shoulders. It requires communication and trust with his crew, the ability to push far but not too far, and a lot of patience. In racing, you aren't racing everyone. You're racing the car ahead of you, picking each one off one by one until you're at the top. Then your only goal is to stay at the top, all the way back to that checkered flag. It sounds easy, but there's a surprising amount of things that can go wrong between the front and the finish line. From flat tires to low fuel to wrecking. There are so many risks in the game that Tommy could never navigate a race by himself. He needs a pit crew. He needs a chief. Any chief. Even one who would tear him down. How are the comms sounding? Tubbo asks through the speaker in Tommy's helmet, and Tommy snaps out of his contemplative state just in time to round another corner. Great! He shouts back. Crystal clear, big man. Good. Phil says to bring it home. Tommy grins and presses his foot firmly to the throttle. This part, he thinks, is the flying. I wish there was a fic where he became visually impaired. SBI would be relatable for me. Oh my gosh, that's right. I think there is there's a comic that came out like a couple years ago. Yo, Aries! Hello. Hey, yo, I'm here from all 7 hours of Rumble stream. Did he stream that long? Holy man. Holy man. Oh my gosh. Animes, thank you so much for the 2-month sub. Yo. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. Yes, I did. I missed all of it. Clown emoji. L. Alright. When he pulls himself out of the car back at the pits, he's greeted by a fist bump from Techno and Tubbo's excited grin. Nice run, mate, Phil says, hopping over the pit barrier with a warm smile. Just a little over 42 seconds. 42.19. Good enough to qualify? Good enough to qualify high, at least on this track. Tommy beams at the praise, but quickly smothers his excitement. Qualifying high is good, but he could still qualify higher. That's what his last chief always said. And sure, Tommy knows by now that not everything his last chief said was right, or even good. Most of it, actually, was incredibly harmful, at least according to his mom. But now that he knows qualifying high is not the same as qualifying highest, it's hard to brush that knowledge aside, especially when his career is on the line. Getting the pole position is not just a step closer to gold. It proves he's worthy to be there, on that racetrack. Anywhere else, and there's room for doubt to trickle in. He can't let doubt trickle in. If he does, that's one step closer to becoming the failure his old chief had continuously branded him as. Helmet worked well? Phil asks, stopping in front of him. Tommy has to look up and squint to see his face through the midday sun. Your voice sounded great on our side. Could you hear us clearly? Perfectly. Tubbo did a good job. Tubbo smiles and scuffs at the pit road with his sneaker. Aw, that was nothing. Just some easy tech. Who in their mother is... Twitter? Guys, I downloaded the Twitter app, and so it buzzes every time I get a like on my Apple Watch. I've lost about every bit of sanity I had. What did they do? What did they play? Was it the Goat Simulator or something? That sounds so funny though, bro. Oh my gosh. Tubbo smiles and scuffs at the pit road with his sneaker. That was nothing. Just some easy tech. Regardless, Phil continues, you should be proud. You should all be proud. The car's looking good, and the new comms are working, and Tommy... Phil sets a hand on Tommy's shoulder, and Tommy instinctively freezes in place. Hands on his shoulders had rarely been something good before. Most of the time, they meant being led away from the swaths of fans and paparazzi to be privately reamed out for his mistakes. Or they meant press conferences where only a certain answer was the right one. They were a tightening death grip on Tommy, like a noose, one he'd only recently broken away from. They meant something bad was coming, something really bad. Tommy swallows. Yes? I am incredibly proud of you. Phil squeezes his shoulder once, but it's a gentle squeeze, affectionate. His eyes glitter with excitement, and Tommy, relieved, finds himself matching his grin. That excitement he shoved down finally forces its way back out. Really? He asked. Really. No one else I know could have sustained an injury like you did and then bounced back like this. Not so quickly. Tommy blushes and ducks his head to the ground. It's just a little hearing loss. It's not that big deal. Oh, it is a big deal, though. At least it's a big deal for someone who's had perfect hearing their entire life until now. That's a big change. So as much as I'm ridiculously proud of you for pushing through, I have to ask, are you okay? How are you feeling? Forget the new helmet and all the racing technicalities. What about you? A little overwhelmed, Tommy thinks first. A little tired, but that's only because the adrenaline is seeping away, leaving him feeling like he just run the 2-mile course on foot. Mostly he's overwhelmed. Everything is happening so quickly and he's not sure he's ready for it. Theoretically, he's proven he is. He made it into NASCAR. He got a new team and already placed high enough in some of the events to garner attention on the track. He just ran a lap that would stick him somewhere in the top 10 racers on this field, had this been qualifying. But he also just lost his hearing. He just learned that his old chief wasn't good for him, and just recently started figuring out why this new one was better. He just started wearing hearing aids, and just learned that his left ear was probably never going to make it above 50% hearing capacity. He's never going to be the same person he was 3 months ago, and he can't decide if that's a good thing or not. He doesn't even have time to decide. They're leaving for Florida tomorrow. I'm okay, he settles on telling Phil, aiming for a reassuring smile. Really, I'm ready to get back on the tracks. Phil gives him a scrutinizing look. You sure? Positive. Woohoo! Tubbo whoops from a... What was that? Woohoo! That's not how Tubbo would say that. I'm Tubbo. No, that's like a Tommy doing a Tubbo impression. Woohoo! Tubbo whoops before Phil can say anything else. He fist pumps the air and shouts, "We're going to kick Daytona's ass!" Phil laughs, and Techno snorts where he's leaning up against the pit's barrier wall. Tommy chuckles along with them as best he can. This is his new crew, and they're nice. They're certainly nothing like his old chief and the crew that worked timidly behind him. They didn't yell at him when he crashed, when he wrecked their car, and when he lost his hearing. They didn't hate him when they had to redesign their comms to accommodate him and fix the car and work to get him back up to speed. But Tommy's still not quite sure what they'll think if he loses this race. What happens if all this work was for nothing? What happens if he lets them down? If he fails? To Daytona? Phil asks, offering him a raised palm. Tommy, despite his doubts, high-fives it. To Daytona. I love them so much. Them. I care them. Okay. Let's continue. Alright. He sits beside Tubbo for their crew's 5-hour flight from Los Angeles, California to Daytona Beach, Florida, which turns out to be a mistake. Hold on, I turned up the music kind of high. Okay. Which turns out to be a mistake. By the time anyone realizes this, though, they've already kicked the seats in front of them hard enough to receive complaints. Hey, yo. Funny story, I failed the hearing test because of a buzz. It was in the background music, so I ignored it. Oh, Lamau? Tommy swears it's not his fault. His legs are just too long, and Tubbo whined like a baby anytime he tried to borrow some of his space, so spilled airplane peanuts all over the aisle while trying to pelt each other with them, and accidentally badmouth the baby. Tubbo's cheeks had flamed bright red after that one. And he spent the next 20 minutes of their flight in dead silence while Tommy cackled. Being forced to socialize with a great rest of the stream. Thank you so much, Chelsea. Good luck with the socializing. I will send you my energy. That was me giving you my energy. Somehow, though, they made it off the plane without being banned from all future Southwest airline flights. And Tubbo only receives one dirty look from the baby's mother before they're inside Daytona Beach International Airport, claiming their bags and hopping in Phil's rental van to drive to the team's hotel. Technically, only Phil and Techno will stay at the hotel. Tubbo and Tommy still share the RV trailer that gets parked in the middle of each track they visit, but it won't be there for a while. Last time Tommy checked in with the driver, he'd just left New Mexico and was rumbling across southern Texas. Look out your window, Tommy, Phil says as they exit the airport's parking garage. He turns, squinting against the bright Florida sunshine to the grass across the road. What is it? Keep looking. Phil turns right, and the road curves alongside the strip of grass as they drive past the first two stoplights. I don't see anything. What about those white things? What white things? Are those the stands? Tommy rolls off as Phil rounds another corner, and the front entrance of Daytona International Speedway comes into view. First, it's the royal blue and yellow Sunoco. That's the first time I've said that word. First, it's the royal blue and yellow Sunoco advert signaling the first entrance gate. Then they pass under a bridge. Its shadow flickering over Tommy's face, and the Daytona gate greets him. Oh, that says Toyota. My bad. And the Toyota gate greets him. The red and white logo juts out from under the stands, and the car company's catchphrase, "Let's go places," is highlighted on a red panel right beside it. Techno and Tubbo both give the sign a mock salute as they pass, and Tommy rolls his eyes. Why do you guys do this every time? In our manufacturer, we trust, Tubbo says by the way of explanation, and the whole car bursts into laughter. In our manufacturer, we trust. Please. I'm crying. That's so funny. The last entrance gate they pass is the VIP gate, located under decorative highlighter red and neon blue images of cars whizzing down the speedway. Then, finally, they drive past the main event, the sign that Tommy has been waiting to see ever since he joined NASCAR. It's the entrance that hundreds of racing legends have passed through, the marker of the track where almost all the icons got their start. They pass the staircase that leads up into the stadium, and Tommy practically glues his nose to the rental car's window as the words Daytona International Speedway race past in bold black letters. This is it. This is what he's been dreaming of for 14 years. This is the place every driver dreams of going, because this is where NASCAR drivers get their start. No matter if it's an old timer coming back for their next win, or the newest rookie making their first marks on the track. Daytona is the place all 40 drivers show up to compete in the Cup Series first race. It's special. It's tradition. It's arguably one of the Cup's most prestigious races. Getting to Daytona 500 in the world's eyes means you've made it. Tommy leans his forehead against the glass and watches his future barrel toward him at 200 miles per hour. Here is where he will pass or fail. See either checkered flag or the tail end of 39 cars crossing the finish line before he even has a chance. This is his opportunity, his test. Will he prove himself, or will he prove his old chief right? Will he fail so spectacularly his career will be over before it's even truly begun? This is it. Welcome to Daytona, Tommy, Phil says. And when Tommy looks up, his chief is grinning at him through the rearview mirror. Excitement and nerves thrumming under his skin. Tommy smiles back. They hang out in the hotel for a few hours, then decide to head down to the lobby and vote on a place to eat dinner. Tommy's adamant that they could totally go to a sit-down restaurant without being recognized, but Phil shoots the idea down. The media's been all over their team since his crash, and they don't need their first day in Daytona Beach to be full of nosy reporters and flashing cameras. Instead, they ordered takeout from the local Panda Express, and Phil drives to pick it up while Tommy, Tubbo, and Techno hang out in the hotel dining room. The nice thing about this hotel is that most of the rooms have already been reserved by other teams. There isn't much room for casual tourists or fans who come to watch, so they don't have to worry about being spotted while they camp out on the first floor. At some point, Tubbo wanders off to find a vending machine. Techno heads into the kitchen to make himself some tea, and then it's just Tommy, seated by himself at one of the dining room tables. He browses his phone for a little bit, but every social media he owns is flooded with discussions of his latest race, and he powers it off after 5 minutes. He doesn't need to see any clips of his failure, doesn't need to hear about how poorly he'd done, or how well the others had done in comparison. At least his fuck-up had only been the topic of hot racing gossip for a little while. Wilbur Soot's comeback announcement overshadowed him pretty quickly. Bored, Tommy lets his gaze drift up to the window beside him. His crew had chosen a booth in the back corner of the lobby, right beside a wide expanse of one-way windows. Outside, Tommy can see the sun setting, bubblegum pink and tangerine clouds cutting across the sky in jagged lines, like the world's least threatening lightning bolts. Cars speed past on the road, headlights blinking on as dusk settles in. There aren't many pedestrians out there, Tommy thinks, but then again, there aren't any races going on yet, and it's getting late. Most of the other teams were probably upstairs getting ready for bed before a long day of reworking cars in the workshop tomorrow. Plus, Tommy knows for a fact that there was a race in Michigan a couple days ago. He wasn't able to participate because he'd been out of commission, busy recovering from his trip to the hospital and helping Tubbo and the other mechanics fix his car. But some of the other teams had gone to compete. It was good publicity. And with just another week before the Cup, it'd be good to drum up some anticipation. Tommy isn't expecting many people to be wandering about the hotel and the street outside. So when the hotel's automatic doors slid open and someone wanders inside, it's instinct for him to look over. It's the hair that gives him away first. Brown and frizzy, it flops into the man's eyes as he looks down at whatever's in his hand. A phone, a wallet, an ID card. Tommy doesn't know, nor does he care. His attention is focused upward, on the man's face when he glances up and turns to the front desk. Rounded silver glasses perched on a slim nose, brown eyes behind them, a scar, small, but noticeable if you know where to look, right over his cheekbone on the right side of his face. It had been put there by the same accident that took Wilbur Soot out of commission for 5 years. 5 years until now. 5 years until Wilbur Soot stepped into the hotel lobby right in front of Tommy Innes's eyes. Tommy's eyes widen, and he freezes in place as one of his biggest racing idols leans over the front desk. 3 people are trailing behind him, dragging suitcases and chatting amicably. But Tommy can't manage to drag his attention away enough to recognize them. He watches, transfixed, as Wilbur collects his key card, and he laughs at something the receptionist says. And as he turns away, about to head for the elevators, 2 steps in, his eyes land on Tommy, and everything stops. "Never meet your heroes," Tommy's dad used to say, "because once you do, there's a chance that everything you've built them up to be in your head will come crashing down, and that person, that one you looked up to all your life, becomes just as human and despicable as the rest of us." Tommy Innes looks at Wilbur Soot in the eye and sees someone who is just as human as him. He's got dark gray eye bags circling under his eyes from lack of sleep while traveling, and his cheeks are flushed pink from all the chill outside. His hair is messy, brown tufts skewed every which way, and his jacket is thrown over one shoulder in a way that suggests he'd been too lazy to figure out how to put it on while his backpack was on his back and suitcase held in his hand. More than that, though. Tommy looks to Wilbur Soot and sees the hearing aid wrapped around his left ear. It's transparent, so the only reason he catches it is because the hotel lights make the plastic shine. But Tommy sees it and immediately thinks, "He's like me." He opens his mouth to say something. Anything. But before Tommy can push out a single syllable, Wilbur's mouth downturns, and he turns away. He gestures to his friends, people who Tommy now realizes must be part of his pit crew, and the 3 of them follow him out of the lobby into the elevators. Tommy watches them go with his mouth still hanging open, stuck on that first word. Wilbur Soot. He'd just seen Wilbur Soot in person and real, existing in a space not even 10 feet from Tommy's table. And he'd frowned at him. Tommy sinks back into the booth, subconsciously pulling his knees to his chest and slouching over them. He doesn't know what he'd expected. Wilbur probably didn't even recognize him. Sure, his picture had been plastered all over the news for the past 2 weeks due to his accident, but that didn't mean someone as famous as Wilbur Soot knew who he was. He was nobody compared to him. He was a rookie. Wilbur probably thought he was a fan about to ask for his autograph. Tommy? What's wrong? Tommy blinks, tearing his eyes away from the empty air Wilbur had just been taking up. Techno stands beside their table, a styrofoam cup of steaming tea in one hand and a blueberry scone in the other. Nothing, Tommy says, shaking off the disappointment of his and Wilbur's interaction. Just ready to eat dinner and go to sleep. Techno hums in understanding. He slides into the seat across from Tommy and offers him his scone. The kitchen still had breakfast pastries out. Want one? You're spoiling your dinner, Techno Blade. You sound like my mom, Tommy Innes. Tommy lifts his eyes to meet Techno's and is met with a much warmer expression than Wilbur's. He cracks, mouth splitting into a smile, and Techno grins wider and slides the pastry across the table to him. Go on, kid. You deserve it. Tommy thinks he doesn't deserve this, actually. Not really. His new team is too nice with him, too soft, too understanding and patient. Just 2 weeks ago, he'd wrecked their car, he'd lost a race, and fucked his hearing to the point where they had to redesign his helmet to keep him on the team. His old team would never have been so kind. He takes the pastry anyway, and smiles when Techno noisily slurps his tea in an attempt to make him laugh. By the time Phil returns with dinner, his small interaction with Wilbur Soot is totally forgotten. Tee! Also, first-time chatter, Jenny Arson. Hello, welcome to the stream. Yes, Dirty Crime Boy is here. He's here. And he's being a bitch to my boy. Wilbur Soot, get yourself in check. Y'all liking it so far? I love chapter 3. Ah. Bing bong. Hello, I've come from Emmy. Oh my gosh, you came from Emmy? No way. Well, welcome. I love Emmy. If he's still alive after, I might raid him. Not gonna lie. We might raid. Where'd my mouse go? There it is. If I just put E, it shows up with Emmy's chat. Ah. Me, Wilbur, Tommy, Julie. People thinking we're British. Okay, yeah. What was up with that chat? Yesterday, 3 people came into my chat thinking I was British. Chapter 3 is so good. I agree. I agree. Alrighty. Let us continue. Hold on. Sorry. Okay. Yep. Let's continue. All right, chapter 4. Yo. You just have a really good British accent. That's what I love about being freaking voice impersonator. Y'all want to hear something funny? So on my audition paper, I had to put down like accents I could do. And so I put down British. I put down Scottish. Because if you had to change your fate, would you? I turned my mum into a bear. I'm Scottish. I got red hair and I like to talk about sheep and archery. But for another accent I put Mickey Mouse. I put down Mickey Mouse. How'd your audition go? Oh, it went great. I told a story about it before you rated, so you might have to go back in the VOD to watch it. Mickey Mouse. Hiya, pal. We're reading some SBI fan fiction. Pluto. You're just using your American accent for... Oh my gosh, Pepper, please. All right. let's get back into the fake. I watch your VODs on YouTube when I drop. That makes me so happy, Jenny. Oh my gosh. I think Wilbur's reading this. Racing is dangerous, Tommy. You and I both know that. You're throwing yourself back into it so soon. It isn't just a hazard for yourself, it's a hazard for all of us. What happens when you freeze up halfway through a lap? Take one too quick turn and smash into someone else. Even well-seasoned racers take time after an accident like that. You're a rookie, kid. You haven't even seen enough to know how to keep your head clear on the track. You're wrong. Julie, no, I'm dying. Hi, dying. I'm Julie. Best Mickey voice ever. Thank you. Alright. Content warnings. Alluding to past verbal abuse and talking about the car wreck. This is probably the last time I'm going to mention these because if you're here by this point, neither should be a surprise. So true, Cat Ocean. So true. He doesn't see Wilbur again for 4 days. But it doesn't matter because Tommy is busy. First, it's his driving. Whoa. First, it's his car arriving 2 days ago via their team hauler. The driver helps unload it into the track's garage, and Tommy spends the rest of his day sitting inside the cockpit and helping Tubbo and the rest of his mechanics test the engine, the tires, anything he possibly can. After that, he goes wandering around the hotel until he finds the gym. He and his pit crew hang out there for a while, training, until Phil finds them and asks him to come back to the hotel room to run over a few things. So, I did actually want to go over the next few days' schedule with you, Phil says as the door clicks closed, but got a call this afternoon. There's a press opportunity tomorrow at the Speedway. A school's going on a tour before the big race, and they were wondering if you'd like to come and meet some of the kids. Maybe just to stop in and say hi. Tommy, halfway through dumping his gym bag on the floor, freezes. Like, a meet and greet? Phil nods. With kids? Phil hesitates, then nods again. Yeah, but only if you're comfortable. Tommy's never been to a meet and greet before. At least, not one that wasn't with potential sponsors or business higher-ups his chief was hoping to get a foot in the doorway with. He'd done his fair share of marketing, branding, and social networking, but he's never really been given the opportunity to meet fans, especially not the younger ones. I just remembered. This is the fic. This is the chapter that I remember reading. Like it was when I first started reading this fic, it only had 4 chapters. And I remember sending it to Danny because she had a hard of hearing AU on her Instagram that she did like forever ago. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, she'll love this." So I sent it to them and they're like, "OMG, I love racing fics." I'm like, "I thought you just love it because of the hard of hearing, but like you love racing fics? I have like 5 others." She goes, "Give it to me now." And one of them made her cry. But yeah. So yeah, this is where Danny and I like started reading. It was great. Kids are cruel trial. What's the thing on your ear? Oh my gosh. I think y'all will like this chapter. Y'all will like this chapter a lot. I'm excited. When he was 8, his father took him to a NASCAR race for the first time. It was a 6-hour drive from their house, and Tommy remembered his dad being exhausted by the time they got there. He kept his energy up for Tommy, though, and they'd had the best time. After the race, they went down to the fences to look at the course. Most of the crowd had dispersed by that point, everyone heading home for the night. But Tommy's dad wanted to wait out traffic before hitting the road, and Tommy was desperate to see the track up close. So they stayed behind for a few extra minutes. At some point, while Tommy was gesturing out at pit road, rambling excitedly about how pass-through penalties were given for going over the speed limit, or for a crew member jumping the wall too early, or for the driver accidentally driving through multiple pit stalls on the way to their own, someone ducked out of the pits and saw him. Tommy, of course, recognized him immediately. That was Jay Schlatt, only one of his favorite racers ever. He waved hesitantly, and Schlatt waved back before starting to make his way across the track over to Tommy and his dad. Tommy vividly remembered the way his heart had pounded, little limbs jittering as his racing idol got closer and closer. "Hey, kid," Schlatt greeted, grinning ear to ear. He was close enough then for Tommy to make out the oil smear on his jacket's collar, the sweat still clinging to curled hair sticking out from under his mustard yellow baseball cap, and the Cup Series patch stuck to his chest. Did you have fun watching the race today? Tommy, starstruck and a little at loss for words, bobbed his head. Schlatt chuckled. He swept his cap off, shaking out long brown hair before raising the hat up and waving it. Think you can catch this? He asked. Tommy looked at the distance between himself and the track, at the tall wired fence cutting them off from each other, and his own tiny hands. Probably not, the logical side of him thought. But when he looked back up, Schlatt was beaming, and he wanted to say yes. Yeah, Tommy stammered, raising his hands up. Yeah, I can catch it. Schlatt pulled his arm back, aimed, and threw. Tommy, like he said he would, caught it. You've got a good eye, kid, Schlatt called up to him as he stood in shock, staring down at the faded yellow cap in his hands. You'd make a good racer. Gotta have fast reflexes out here on the track. Tommy's dad had chuckled and thanked him, and Tommy waved goodbye when Schlatt said he had to go. The interaction as a whole hadn't lasted more than a minute, but it was enough. It was enough for Tommy Innes at 8 years old to decide he wasn't just going to race for fun as a kid. He was going to keep racing. He was going to race until one day he was out there with Schlatt and Vic and all the others. Tommy Innes wasn't stopping at junior league. He was going for the big leagues, the top spot. Tommy Innes was going for NASCAR. Of course, just 2 years later, when Schlatt retired and became NASCAR's official radio host instead, Vic kept racing for another 4 years before calling it quits and moving back to his hometown in England. But Tommy... Yo, Title, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. We're reading a fan fiction. We're reading a racing fanfic. But Tommy had finally made it. Now that he'd made it here, the thought of being that the thought of being that inspiration for someone else, some little kid just like him, was enough to make his eyes sting. It was something he's always wanted to do. His old chief had never allowed it, saying that meeting fans wasn't a productive use of his time. But here was Phil, offering it. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry. I love this fic so much. He blinks away the surprise and nods. Yes, I'd love to do that. So the next day he goes to his first meet and greet. Some of the other drivers are there. Purpled, who Tommy's known since junior league, and Foolish, whose driving technique Tommy has admired ever since he first watched him run a practice lap. They greet kids and parents in one of the box rooms upstairs and follow them along on part of their tour through the track. For the most part, they're all too busy entertaining the kids to talk to each other. But while the tour guide is leading the group through the garage, struggling to speak over the kids' oohs and ahs as they pass mechanics tinkering away at car parts, Purple slides up to Tommy and knocks their shoulders together. How you been, Innes? He asks, then winces. I heard about your wreck. How's your... He waves a finger at his own ears, and Tommy shrugs. They're fine. I mean, not fine. They're fucked, but I can still race. You didn't take much time off. When this happened to Wilbur Sood, he dropped off the face of the planet for 5 years. Tommy shrugs again, not quite sure what he's meant to say. He gets what Purple is saying, but his and Wilbur's accidents are different. Wilbur shouldn't have survived. Tommy, besides losing part of his hearing and whacking his head hard enough for a minor concussion, was fine. That's different, he says out loud. Soot nearly died. I just can't hear anything you say on my left side. It's not that big of a deal. Not a big deal, Purple repeats quietly, and laughs like he can't quite believe that. They walk on in silence for a few minutes, listening to the tour guide drone on about different roles in the pit crew and their importance. Then Purple juts his head to the left. Tell that kid over there that it's not a big deal. I bet he disagrees. He's been watching you for the past 10 minutes. Tommy follows Purple's gaze to his left, where a boy who can't be much older than 7 is staring at him. He has big, round, honey-brown eyes which hurriedly dart away when he catches him looking. More importantly, though, there's a bright pink hearing aid clipped to his right ear. Immediately, Tommy is thrown back 4 days ago to the hotel dining room and Wilbur Soot standing there with a shiny plastic hearing aid in his ear. Tommy's been on both sides of that situation now. He knows what it feels like to look at someone you look up to and to realize with startling clarity that they're the same as you in this way. He also knows what it's like to be the someone being looked at and to realize, yet again, that they're the same. In this one way, they're alike. They're not alone. Purple nudges his arm, and Tommy rips himself out of his stupor. What? Go say hi. That's literally what you're being paid to do. We're being paid? Purple elbows him again, and Tommy goes, Hi there, Tommy says, stepping into place beside the boy. The tours paused in the middle of the garage while the guide explains restrictor plates and the speeds cars can get up to on different tracks. So he doesn't have to worry about holding up the group when he crouches down beside him. I'm Tommy. What's your name? The younger boy tears his eyes off the nearest car, number 17's, to look up at him. He has pink-tipped hair, sort of like Techno's, and his blue jean overalls are covered with tiny embroidered pigs. I'm Michael, he mumbles hesitantly. Nice to meet you, Michael. Do you like racing? I like cars. Tommy laughs. A mechanic, then? They're the people who help fix cars. Michael takes another wide-eyed scan of the workshop, then nods. I like fixing. When he turns back to Tommy, his attention flits up to his ears before hurriedly darting away. On instinct, Tommy reaches up and brushes the side of his left hearing aid. He's only had his aids for 2 weeks, but already he's had to get used to people looking, people staring, sympathetic smiles. The media attention has been awful, but between his lack of Twitter usage and Phil's careful gatekeeping of articles and newscasts from him, he's managed to avoid hearing most of the judgments being thrown around. Plus, he really hasn't been out in the public eye until a couple days ago. For the most part, he and his team have been kept to the mobile home and hotel back in California while they train to get back on track. He knows Michael's curiosity is different from the rest, though, so he forces his hand to lower. Hey, he says, and Michael looks back at him. I like your aid. Is pink your favorite color? Michael's hand flies to his hearing aid just like Tommy's had just done, but he doesn't look nervous. Instead, when he blinks up at Tommy, his eyes fill with a glittering, glowing excitement Tommy's never seen before. Yeah, Michael stammers, and Tommy can't stop the elated smile spreading across his own face as Michael rambles on. I got them pink, like pigs. I really like pigs. Do you like red? Is that why yours are red-colored? In reality, Tommy hadn't really chosen his aids. He took the first pair he'd been offered, because he'd been tired and overwhelmed and terrified of what his life was going to look like after losing part of one of his senses. And he didn't want hearing aids. He didn't want to deal with disability, but he isn't about to tell Michael, who's looking at him so hopefully that... And besides, red and white really are his favorite colors. For the first time, he wonders if Sam had known that when he offered them. Yeah, he says to Michael. Red and white are my favorites. They're the colors on my race car. What number is your car? I forgot. Tommy taps his baseball cap, where the number 9 is branded in bright red. Number 9. It's my birthday number. That's cool. My birthday is, I forgot. Mom, when's my birthday? Michael looks somewhere above Tommy's head, and he turns to see that a lady with dark, box-braided hair and warm brown eyes has been standing behind them, watching. He doesn't know how long she's been there, but she smiles and answers, December 1st, Michael. The 1st! Michael proudly proclaims, bouncing on his toes. I'm number 1. You're number 1, all right, Tommy chuckles. Then he reaches up and only hesitates a second before removing his cap and dropping it over Michael's head. Phil won't mind, right? He has extras. But you can be number 9 for a little bit, yeah? Michael's eyes widen, and when his hand reaches up to the cap's visor, he holds it almost reverently. He nods. Good, Tommy says. It's nice to meet you, Michael. Don't forget to come say bye later. I won't, Michael whispers, still entranced by the cap on his head. Tommy smiles, pushing back to his feet right as the tour resumes moving. He passes Michael's mom on his way back to Purple, and she gives him a beaming smile. Thank you, she says, glancing over at Michael, who's pulled the cap off and is running his fingers over the numbering stitches. He's been talking about you ever since the news came out. Normally he's not interested in the racers, just the cars, but I think he really likes seeing someone like him out there. You and Wilbur Soot are both really important to him. Thank you, Tommy says. And even though he can't help but think he hasn't earned this, that he's just a fuck-up, a failure in the making, the compliment reminds him of how he felt looking up at Wilbur Soot in the hotel lobby. Someone like him. When he rejoins Purple's side a minute later, Purple gives him a knowing grin. I know you haven't been on social media lately, he says, twisting a dark purple string from his hoodie around and around his fingers. But you wouldn't imagine the amount of people who are excited for you. Excited because of you. There is no doubt that you and Soot's first race back is going to be something big. Not just because it's the kickoff for the cup. Tommy spares another glance at Michael and at the tiny hot pink hearing aid clipped to his ear. I didn't think about it that way, he admits. I just made a mistake, you know. I fucked up a race for my team, and now they're giving me a second chance, but I might screw it all up over again. Maybe, Purple shrugs as they step out of the garage, following the tour guide into the bright Florida sunshine. But I don't think he'll care. I think, no matter what happens in this next race, in that kid's eyes, you've won just by getting back on the track. Up ahead, Michael waves Tommy's cap in the air for his mother to see. His smile is bright and enthusiastic, and he bounces on his toes as they cross the grass and head back toward the track. Huh, Tommy thinks. He's been told he's a failure for so long now. It's hard to believe that people can see anything else. Even with his new team, he constantly doubts their words of praise, of encouragement, of faith. But the way this kid lights up, giggling and jamming Tommy's cap and jamming Tommy's cap back onto his head, takes a nail and carefully chips it into that layer of paint that brands failure across his side. Slowly it peels away enough for doubt to start trickling in. Maybe, Tommy thinks treacherously, with just a touch of hope. His old chief was wrong about him. Oh my gosh, Michael! Michael! My boy! He's so special to me. My dad has a hearing aid and I'm gonna get one soon. Oh, Jenny! Happy for you, fam. Get the... Yo, Leo! Leo! Whoa! Slay! Thank you for the follow. Michael. Yeah, big Oz. Lots of Oz. Cat farm and Oz. Cat did so well writing Michael. Real! That made me cry. Aw, Christy. Yo! Yeah, that's a good chapter. And we're still going. We're only halfway through. Let's go. Let's go. Great. Michael, my beloved. The next few days fly by. Tommy practices at the gym, and then on his mobile home's racing simulator when it finally arrives. He hangs out with Tubbo around the hotel and eventually manages to convince Phil to venture out with him to Five Guys for lunch. They don't get recognized, and everything is good. Everything is great, actually. The car is fixed, and Tubbo upped the security surrounding his seat so that the next time Tommy goes flying, it shouldn't hurt. But there won't be a next time, because Tommy is a good driver. It takes 3 months. Oh, wait. It's taken 3 months. 3 months and one kid's eyes lighting up when he looked at him. But for the first time, when he finishes a simulated practice just a second faster than his previous record, and Phil launches up out of his seat, cheering, he allows himself to believe that maybe they won't give up on him. When Techno knocks on the door of his mobile home at 7 in the morning with blueberry scones from the hotel, and Tubbo rambles on until 3 a.m. about all the cool wiring he had to do to get Tommy's helmet to work, Tommy takes the peel of paint Michael had torn loose in his mind, and he keeps tearing. Maybe he is just a stupid, annoying kid who got lucky, like his old chief said. Maybe everyone's going to see that eventually, but for the first time in years, he's starting to imagine what it'd be like if they don't. If he's not, if his chief was wrong, and having setbacks doesn't automatically brand him as a failure. Maybe he is important. Maybe he deserves to be here just as much as everyone else. He likes the feeling. Unfortunately, it's hard to hold on to. Like a bar of soap, confidence slips easily through his fingers, and more often than not, he finds old voices creeping in. Ones that tell him a single second faster barely makes a dent in the competition, that he's already crashed once and ruined a race, so his crew shouldn't keep working with him. Ones that tell him he needs to make it up to them by working harder, going faster, qualifying as soon, and he needs that pole position to prove he's worthy of being here. Tommy groans as he finishes a lap a full second slower than his last one. He presses the pause button on his wheel, and the virtual race playing in front of him freezes in place. Maybe you should take a break, Phil suggests from somewhere behind him. It's just him and Phil in the mobile home this afternoon. Tubbo's out at the workshop, helping touch up the car's paint for qualifying, and Techno ran out to pick up some smoothies 15 minutes ago. Tommy's been sitting here for hours, long before either of them left, and he knows, realistically, that Phil's probably right. He's just going to burn himself out this way. But there's an itchy, anxious feeling burning just under his skin, and he needs to race. He needs the feeling of a steering wheel under his palms and the sight of his car turning corners over 100 miles per hour. He needs to feel in control of something, because this morning had started very out of control. As much as he doesn't want to admit it, losing his hearing is starting to fuck with him. Before, he'd been too concerned with getting back on the tracks to worry about it. But now that he's back in the swing of things, it's hard not to notice all the little things that are different. He wakes up in the mornings and immediately rustles the blinds next to him, just to make sure he didn't go completely deaf in his sleep. He plugs his hearing aids in, and then almost forgets to take them off in the shower. He found his earbuds on the kitchen table when his mobile home arrived, and nearly cried when he realized he was going to have to throw them out. His headphones for the simulator don't fit either, and even though Tubbo swears he can adjust them to work, it's been a few days. They've all been so busy with race preparation that he hasn't had time to. Tommy doesn't mind, but it's just another thing to add to the long list of things that used to be normal and aren't anymore. This morning, he nearly had a panic attack when he plugged his right ear, rustled the blinds, and heard nothing. Absolutely nothing. Tubbo, in the bed across from him, woke up to find him... Stop. Tubbo, in the bed across from him, woke up to find him muffling tears into his blankets. It was the moment it really sank in for him. He was never getting it back. Not above 50%, Sam had said. But Tommy could tell 50 was being generous. At least on his left side, he was going to have partial deafness forever. He wiped his tears after 5 minutes and got up. But even now, 6 hours later, he's still thinking about how awful that knowledge felt. How out of control. Just one more lap, Tommy tries, but Phil's already behind him, yanking the controller out of his hands. You've been at it for hours now, Tommy. Take a break. Go outside, wander the track, breathe the Florida air. It's probably polluted. Oh, shut, Phil says, but he's smiling. Don't get lost. No promises. Tommy prods himself out of his chair, shaking awake legs that had long since fallen asleep, and cracking joints he hadn't realized were so stiff. He really had been sitting there for hours. He grabs his phone off the kitchen table on his way out. Call me when Techno's back with smoothies, he says, then ducks out of the side door before Phil can reply. As he wanders through the assortment of camper vans set up in the middle of Daytona Speedway, he tries to decide on a place to go. Purple's door looks like it'd been fun to bang on, but Tommy already knows he's out visiting the beach with his team. The next home down, he's been told, belongs to some guy named Ranboo. Ronboo? Some guy named Ronboo. But all the lights are out inside, and Tommy doesn't really feel like trying to make new friends right now. Not when his limbs are shaky with restlessness, skin itchy with anxiety, and his mind is running 1,000,000 miles per minute. Qualifying is in a week, and if he can't prove himself capable, then what? He pauses just outside the collection of motorhomes and looks around. The track's black asphalt is spread wide and empty in front of him, utterly silent. On race days, it's the second loudest sound Tommy's ever heard, but now there's only the sound of Tommy's feet crunching in the grass, and even that is dull and barely perceptible with his aids. It's like they can't decide if they should pick it up or not. He turns his face to the stands, and watches the sunlight reflect off chairs at the very top for approximately 5 seconds before heading that way. The stands have always been his favorite place to go whenever he needs a breather. The air's thinner up there, his dad always joked. Clears your head. Even at 8 years old, Tommy knew that that wasn't true. But sometimes he liked to think it was. That the air up there magically solved his problems by cleared his But sometimes he liked to think it was. That the air up there magically solved his problems by clearing them all away, giving him a clear slate to work with. Plus, Phil had told him to breathe some air. Oh my gosh. Plus, Phil had told him to breathe some air. It takes him all of 5 minutes to reach the top of the stairs. He chooses a chair, a pale yellow one in the very center of the row, and plops into it, then sits back, and lets the air do its work. Florida is naturally warm, but in early February the breeze blows cool around his shoulders, contrary to what he told Phil. It doesn't smell like pollution. Instead, he smells grass and asphalt, and the dirty, rubbery scent only a racetrack can have. He breathes in long and deep and lets it out slow, in and out, just like Phil coached him before every race, just like Sam told him when he woke up in the hospital with half his hearing gone. At some point, he closes his eyes, tilting his head back and letting the sound wash over his face. That's when he hears it. A shoe scuffs against the concrete to his right, loud enough for Tommy's aide to pick it up. A metallic bang follows it, and Tommy's eyes fly open just in time to lock with a frantic, just barely saved himself from falling down the steps, Wilbur Sutz. He looks better than he did the first time Tommy saw him. The eye bags are mostly gone, and his hair had obviously seen a shower and a comb. His cheeks are still pink, but this time Tommy suspects it's more from the embarrassment of nearly tumbling down 40 steps than from the cold. Immediately, Tommy pulls himself I'm like stumbling over my words. Hold on. Let me get some water. This is it. Crime boys. Crime boys. Get hype. Get hype. Immediately, Tommy pulls himself to sit straighter in his chair. Hello, he goes to say. Go where we'll sit. You set the record for fastest lap here. You proved me to a rookie could do this, could make it. You came back after an accident that should have killed you. I'm a huge fan. You're in my seat. Tommy frowns. All the words that had been in his mouth drying up and dissipating. I'm sorry, he stammers instead. What? Wilbur steps up to the top row and gestures to Tommy's chair. My seat. This is my spot. Oh. Tommy gets it now. He's making a joke. Your spot, he fires back, letting the jest tilt the corners of his mouth up. I'm pretty sure this is seat 149 in section 444 of Daytona International Speedway. Yeah, that's my spot. You're sitting in it. Wilbur doesn't laugh. And Tommy suddenly gets the sinking suspicion that maybe this isn't a joke after all. Maybe Wilbur's being serious. But what kind of asshole picks an argument over one plastic seat in a sea of thousands? There's literally hundreds of other chairs he could take. Hell, there's one right next to Tommy if he wants to sit up here so badly. Tommy wouldn't mind the company. Not really. Is this a joke? Tommy decides to clarify. Wilbur's brow furrows. Why the fuck would I be joking? So it's not a joke then. Tommy nearly shrivels in his seat, nearly gets up and apologizes, nearly goes to leave. Who is he to stand in the way of Wilbur's soot? But the paint Michael had started peeling is still pulling back, still curling away from him, and he doesn't really want to leave. He can be here, right? It's just a seat. Huh. Yeah, who was he? But, oh my gosh. Hey, Danny. Hi, Danny. My lips are chapped, love. Hi. You just heard me sip some water. Anywho. Wilbur, I'm Wilbur Soot. Fish and chips. We're almost done with this chapter. Slay. Okay. You're right, it's just a seat. Indecision wars in him for... Wait. Did I finish this part? Let me just read this sentence again. But the paint Michael had started peeling is still pulling back, still curling away from him. And he doesn't really want to leave. He can be here, right? It's just a seat. Indecision wars in him for 1 second too long, apparently, because Wilbur's speaking again before Tommy's even decided whether he should move or not. You're Tommy Innes, yeah? The rookie? Youngest on the track? I saw your wreck. Instinctively, Tommy flinches. He should be used to people commenting on his wreck by now, but he's not. Every time it makes a pit in his stomach reopen as he remembers the first nudge, the way his wheels lost control and he skidded to the side before being slammed into. That sound had been one of the worst sounds he'd ever heard in his life, and it was all his fault. His fault for not listening. Wrecking was the one thing his old chief said he could never do, or no one would want him again. I saw your wreck, I'm screaming. Throwback to your one shot. Wrecking was the one thing his old chief said he could never do, or no one would want him again. And what had he done as soon as he was out from under his wing? He hadn't listened. He'd wrecked. He'd embarrassed himself. Oh. Tommy manages to stutter out. Wilbur steps closer, entering the row. Surprised you're back so soon, he says, but his hands start to wave beside him in little gestures, as if he's acting out what he's saying. It's so slight, Tommy thinks it has to be subconscious. Was sure you'd be out for the season at least. Oh, well, I'm not. Wilbur's right beside him now, practically over him. He's freakishly tall, Tommy realizes. Taller than he'd expected after watching him on TV 5 years ago. Some would say that's admirable, Wilbur says, but I wouldn't. I just call it stupid. Maybe the air really is thinner up here, or maybe his aids aren't working properly because there's no way Tommy is hearing him right. What? He squeaks out. Wilbur takes the seat beside him and crosses one leg over the other. Casual. He's in jeans and a sweatshirt, hair still slick from a shower, and he smells like vanilla? Some sort of vanilla flowery soap. It's sweet and delicate, completely opposite to the acidic words sliding from his tongue. Sorry, do you need me to? Wilbur raises his hands, repeating the same sort of gestures from earlier. Tommy watches, utterly confused, as his hands fly through a series of complicated movements, going up, down, hitting against each other, and at one point even smacking his forehead. None of it makes sense, and Tommy's confusion must show on his face because Wilbur eventually stops. No ASL yet? He asks, when Tommy continues to blankly stare, too stunned to speak. The woman was too stunned to speak. Too stunned to speak. He sighs. Listen, Tommy. No one else is going to tell you this, so I'll warn you. What you're doing, coming back so soon after... He gestures up and down at Tommy, but his eyes catching on the hearing aid tucked over his right ear. Tommy reaches up to cover it. Everything is inspiring, sure, but it's also stupid. You know what's going to happen when you get in that car on that speedway, in the midst of all those other cars? All those other hazards? You're going to freak out. Going to second guess every move you make because the last time you made a mistake, it cost you. And in racing, there's no time for second guessing. There's your first guess, and then you go and do it. Wilbur turns away, looking out over the speedway instead of at Tommy's face. The sunlight makes his face glow and glints off his glasses like a match that's been struck. Tommy opens his mouth to say something in response, but nothing comes out. He's not really going to freak out like that, is he? He's been practicing on the simulator for hours upon hours, and never once had the surrounding cars made him nervous. Granted, they were all virtual. He knew, realistically, they couldn't hurt him. But still, he'd been fine. Look, Tommy says, finally finding his words. I appreciate the advice, if you can call it that, but I'm fine. I'm not scared, and I'm not going to freak out. I'm fine, Phil. Look at me, I'm fine. Peak man. You're the best. You're the best. Shut up, bestie. That's what I thought too. And then the first time I drove out drove on a crowded freeway after my wreck. I had to pull over to have a panic attack. The breath catches in Tommy's throat, but Wilbur doesn't seem fazed by the admission. He continues, "Racing is dangerous, Tommy. You and I both know that. You throwing yourself back into it so soon isn't just a hazard for yourself, it's a hazard for all of us. What happens when you freeze up halfway through a lap? Take one too quick turn and smash into someone else. Even well-seasoned racers take time off after an accident like that. You're a rookie, kid. You haven't seen enough to know how to keep your head clear on the track." With every word spouted from Wilbur's mouth, Tommy feels another phantom knife jab into his chest. He can practically hear his ex-chief saying, "You're just going to fuck it up again, Innes. You're a rookie. Don't go around acting like you're some big talent." He hates that it's so easy for those thoughts to slip back in. Hates that he can't decide between trusting himself and the people encouraging him or feeling like an imposter standing on the track. He hates that Wilbur's partially right, that he doesn't know how to clear his head. Not off the track, at least. But on the track, that's where Wilbur has it wrong. On the track is the one place where Tommy can actually think, can breathe. Swallowing back the urge to just agree mindlessly, like he had always had with his old chief, he raises his chin and says, "You're wrong." It feels good, Tommy thinks, to take back the reins, to regain control. It's like sliding his hands over his steering wheel and knowing that they fit there simply because it feels right. Wilbur's eyes widen ever so slightly, and his aids flash in the sun when he tilts his head to the side. "Yeah?" Tommy nods, and it feels foreign, but still good, so he continues. Yeah, I may be a rookie, but I'm not stupid. I can do this. They didn't take me out of the race, so I'm not planning on quitting." Wilbur sits quietly for a moment, pensive, then shrugs. "All right, fuck up your career more if you want. I just came to warn you." "Oh, fuck off." Tommy shoots back without thinking. Wilbur freezes, and Tommy's mouth clamps shut. Fuck. Why did he say that? This is Wilbur Soot. He just told Wilbur Soot, racing legend, to fuck off. Wilbur looks back down at him, and this time his eyes spark with something Tommy can't name. His mouth quirks up in one corner. "You really are the Spitfire everyone always calls you. Wild, right? You and your old chief, always taking risks. How'd that pay off for you?" Get his ass! Get his ass! Sorry, that was, whoa. that was deep, man. Ooh. Tommy's hair bristles at the mention of his last chief. Everyone knows that's a sore subject for him, so the fact that Wilbur's bringing it up now makes his fists curl. "Dickhead," he spits. "Child. I'm not a child. I'm 18. Child." Tommy swings out of his chair. "You know what? I don't have to deal with this. I'm leaving." "Suits me." Wilbur shrugs as Tommy pushes past him, heading for the stairs. "Now I get my spot back." Oh, that absolute... Tommy whirls just in time to see Wilbur slide into his seat. His mouth pops open in shock, but Wilbur just laughs and presses a fist to his forehead. It's too purposeful to have been anything but sign language, but Tommy has no idea what it means. Judging by the amusement twinkling Wilbur's eyes, he assumes something insulting. "Bitch," he huffs, just to make it even, then turns away and stomps down the stairs. As he reaches the bottom, he hears Wilbur shout down at him, "Hey, child, good luck at qualifying in a week." He's sarcastic, and Tommy can tell by the look on his face. Too bad he can't keep tormenting him. With a Shireen, what is this word? Saturine smile. I'm butchering a word. With a saturine smile, Tommy makes a show of bringing his hands to his ears and pressing his hearing aids until the battery drawer clicks open. The aids instantly power down, killing all sound. Tommy sticks a middle finger up in the direction of Wilbur before turning back toward the track. Silence. Never sounded so good. You obviously was right. Yay! And we have finished chapter 4. Oh. Man, Wilbur's kind of a bitch, huh? He may be a bitch, but he's our bitch. Yay! I love this fic so much. I love it. Yeah. Let me put on the Ram Jams. Yeah. Oh my gosh. This fic means so much to me. Yeah. He's just sounding stupid for those wondering. Oh my gosh. That's perfect. Just wait. Oh my gosh. Love bitchy Wilbur. Bro, it'll all turn out so worth it in the end though. It'll all turn out so much worth it in the end. It was a great start to my week. Such a good chapter. Yay! I'm so glad you guys liked. I love this fic so much. Who are we gonna raid though? That's the big question. Who are we raiding? Oh, we're raiding Emmy. Emmy's still alive. Sand Duo. I almost fell asleep listening to your voice. I'm doing my job correctly. Alright, gang. I'm gonna send y'all over to... You think you're giggling, kicking my feet every time? Ew, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Alright. I'm hoping to, like... Hold on. Yeah, this is already up on my VODs channel, I believe. So don't forget to subscribe to my VODs channel. Yo, first time chatter, Lemon CD. You bye, y'all. Bye, Danny. Thank you so much. Of course, you guys. So yeah, subscribe to that. Make sure to join the raid first. Don't leave just yet. We gotta send y'all over to Emmy. She's drawing Sand Duo. Join the raid, join the raid, join the raid. It would be very poggers if you did that. Bye, Julia. We'll be back next stream for sure. Oh, slay. Also, don't forget, if you have a sub, don't forget to use the little raid emote over there. Really appreciate it. You guys are wonderful. Streams this week. I will let you know about schedule stuff. So make sure you're in the Discord. If you're not Discord, join the Discord, join the Discord. We are very poggers. All right. I'm going to send you all over to Emmy. Guys, remember, you are beautiful. You are loved. You are valid. And I love you all very, very much. Mwah. And I will see you all in the next stream. All right. Bye!